Hey, everybody, welcome back to your Dawn of Drones podcast. I'm Dawn Zoldi, the CEO of P3 Tech Consulting and your host. We are in the middle of a month dedicated to this idea of the tech ecosystem. And when you think about the technology ecosystem, by the way, sponsored by True Weather Solutions, who we love, nothing really is more important for drone pilots and enterprise than managing your business. And Cody Retlich from DroneAdair is here with us to tell us how he created this company to help you do just that. So welcome to the show, Cody.
Yes, thank you, Don. I appreciate you having me on, and excited to be on the show today.
Absolutely. By the way, everybody, if you missed Cody's Clubhouse with Sam Scully last Thursday, it was absolutely phenomenal. You can check out that on replay. But Cody, you talked to us there, and I want to, obviously fill in the audience here that may not have heard you or know you. A little bit about your background. You went to school for entrepreneurship and didn't create this company right away. So tell us a little bit about your journey.
Yeah, I knew I wanted to own a business, but I didn't know what or why or what I was gonna do, quite honestly. So I was like, yeah, let's just do something super general and be a business major in entrepreneurship. That was the first time that actually, the college that I had went to offered this as a major, which I was super drawn to. And then in the professional sales world after graduation, but through kind of that entrepreneurship platform, or I should say degree, I worked for a drone startup, way back when. And it was, I was doing the market research for the team. So it was literally figuring out, more than a decade ago, what drones were going to use, where how they were going to evolve the technology, in what industries and what types of services would be offered, either in the next coming years or in the future. It was very heavily focused in the agricultural space at that time, which being from Wisconsin, seems like a natural business to start. But I was more drawn to different industries in the way that we could scale the technology as it advanced as well. So that kind of got me started in the passion for drones. But worked in sales for 2 years after that, and then ultimately quit to start my previous company, Midwest Aerial Productions, which is still in operation today, but we're able to grow that network across the Midwest and then across the United States as well.
Yeah, just real quick, just kind of as background, that Midwest Aerial Productions, that's like a drone pilot network, right? And you've gone not only national, I think global as well with that company.
Just national, yeah.
Okay,
It's
gotcha.
just in the United States. Yeah, but we really started out right after, I had quit that job, was more so just kind of local, right? Understanding what would work and what didn't, and how to sell drone services. Because if at that time we were cold calling like crazy and figuring out what companies could use drones for. And everybody was like, drones, like I've never thought of it in our industry at that time. So it was really a lot of education in the beginning and learning from our standpoint and clients. But then, being able to get into certain industries and help pilots also gain some recurring revenue and build a business rather than just be kind of, weekend warriors or side hustlers with drones. It really blew up in that way because we were able to take a different approach to more of a pilot network that you see out there today, right? Usually it's, hey, sitting at a computer and you click accept first or submit the lowest bid, you probably got that job, but it's probably not a great job and you're probably never working with them again, right?
Right,
So
right.
we flipped the script and allowed clients to get consistent work from pilots that they trusted and knew that were licensed, and made it a better experience for both the pilots and the clients.
And it was really that experience that helped inform and kind of inspire the creation of DroneAdair. So tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I'm a drone pilot by heart. That's where I started. So it's a platform that is created and crafted by drone pilots for drone pilots ultimately. So we've interviewed thousands of pilots over the last couple of years to learn what works and what doesn't platform, and all of our learnings from MAP, right? To understand kind of those challenges of running and growing and scaling a successful drone business. So that ultimately has led to the build and the development of DroneAdair, which we've been working on for the last about 2.5 years now.
Awesome. Awesome. By the way, everybody, I think you know this, but I'm just going to say it. This is live, and we've got already Robert Thomas out there. I guess call sign maybe Lion or maybe company Lion. I'm not sure, saying hey, Dawn. So, hey, Robert, thanks for joining us. You're going to learn a lot from Cody today. And everybody out there, ask Cody your questions because now's your opportunity. So, all right. So tell us a little bit more about DroneAdair. You know, you said it's kind of crafted by pilots, for pilots, if you will. You know, what exactly does DroneAdair bring to the fight?
Yeah, I think, you know, when we were looking at like, hey, how could we make something not only for us to help manage our clients and help distribute pilots to these companies and these organizations on a more consistent, more automated way, but also how can we help pilots manage and automate and really gather everything that they do on a daily basis into one place? Because I think the biggest thing about working on a business is not working in it, right? It's working
Yeah.
on it, and it's being
Yeah.
able to, yes, right. And I'm sure you know that from
Well,
being
yeah, I mean, look, you don't have to be a drone pilot to know that there's admin, right? To know that, like,
exactly,
I'm going to spend 5 hours on Saturday going over my invoices or whatever it is, right?
yeah.
Like, so this is relevant to all kinds of businesses, but you really honed it for the drone pilot in particular.
Exactly. It's not like we're necessarily doing something that hasn't been done before in different industries, right? We're just doing it for an industry that hasn't been touched in this way because, yeah, things are admin and tasks are time consuming. Booking jobs are time consuming. Scheduling missions are time consuming. Upload files are time. All these things that pilots are doing, right? They take away from what they love doing, which is flying and building a business, right? And being able to just get out there and really interact with clients. And so they don't have to worry about organizing and sending emails and proposals and data links and file transfers and everything else. So it's really being able for them to kind of automate a lot of those operations and take those time tasks away.
Well, you know, if anybody appreciates this fully, it's me. Because just even the production of this podcast, we've automated a lot of things behind the scenes, and it has saved so much time. I can't imagine if I had to drive to a location, fly a mission, maybe over several days, you know, download those files, like possibly even throw other software analytics behind it, and then deliver that
That's
to a client plus everything else. So, you know, let's just get very specific. What specific challenges then was DroneAdair targeting and addressing for drone pilots? You alluded to some of it, but very specifically, which ones?
Yeah. So, you know, today, right, we're version, I don't know, 1.03, right, or something like that, where we're very early on. And because ultimately we wanted to make it so easy to use and user friendly in the beginning for very, you know, very simple things like booking jobs, organizing all of your clients' missions, all of your data, being able to have this booking platform that allows either current clients or prospective clients to go on, schedule either a packaged mission, they book it, they pay for it, they schedule it, they get automatic status updates. They can see when your mission is flown, when the files are ready for them to download. They're getting all of this information, you know, as through the platform. So you can
Now, I
organize
think this
your
is an
dashboard.
example, Cody. I don't mean to interrupt you, but we have this slide up, and I wanted to, you know, kind of, well, if we go back to that other slide, if you don't mind, show that. There we go. This kind of mission. What are we looking at exactly here?
Yeah, so this would be like a client dashboard, right? So you would
Okay.
see all of the packaged missions that this pilot would have on their page that have been booked, certain statuses, what industry they're in, their due dates. You can then go into each one of these missions and see all of the details in there. So airspace, what type of airspace it is, what kind of deliverables they need, everything else that is involved in the mission or the job, right?
Yeah.
So you can also then create custom missions. As you see there in that top right, you would then ultimately be able to just send like a custom job or proposal to someone, which you fill in all the information. You basically create a proposal line itemed out with all of the information. They can then get an email with that. They book it, they schedule it, pay for it, whatever you choose to do from a payment standpoint. Right now it's pay up front in that case. Later on, you'll have tons of options for that as well for different ways to pay and whatnot. But ultimately, it's a centralized dashboard for them to manage all of their clients and data and the missions.
Awesome. I know we're going to talk towards the end of the show about some of the things you expect to show in the future. And the payment platform right now, just to remind me, you're using like Stripe right now through this?
Yeah, from a payment perspective, yeah. So all payments get processed through Stripe. Correct.
Well, and you know what, Cody? It's not a bad idea to get money up front, because even I've experienced where, you know, you invoice somebody, give them a due date, and you're like hounding them, you know, especially after you've conducted the service. Then you get a little nervous because it's like, wait a minute, I've already done the work and you've still not paid me.
And that's right. There's nothing more frustrating, right? I mean, it's like, hey, I need to get paid for this. What's going on? And you've seen those videos of people like going out and, you know, taking away something that they've done because they weren't paid or whatever. But it's like, we wanted to start with that ability to keep the pilots in mind first, right? It's like, get paid right away. But in the next couple months here, we'll have more sprints out with half down, or you can choose the percentage of them to pay up front and then pay on completion or pay later, or, you know, some people still like paying in cash and other ways too. So we'll have all those options available here in the next couple sprints.
Okay, excellent. I just watched The Wedding Singer and I was thinking, oh, you can pay in meatballs. No, but anyway, so
Nice.
you know, look, you're all about enhancing the experience for drone pilots, letting them do what they love to do, which is fly their drones. Tell us a little bit more about how DroneAdair actually enhances that experience for drone pilots.
Yeah, so I think you pull up an image here. This is kind of one of the, you know, allowing in the back end, right? This would be a pilot's website or a booking page is what we like to call it. So you can kind of, you know, this is the back end of it where you can pick a different theme on how to display all of your information. You know, that in a way where it's appealing. So some pilots use this as their own current website, which allows them to ultimately use it as like a sales funnel or a website. In some cases, you can show off your previous work, your rates. You can customize packages as well, so that as well as industries and different service offerings. You know, one of the things I know from a sales perspective, I always hated was like word vomiting all the things I can upsell to a client, right? It's
Yeah.
this, or I could do that, or we could do this, or we could do that. You can put all that information in here as well, so that when a client goes to your page, if they select a package that is, you know, something on that you've built on your page, it'll ultimately then pull up all of your additional service offerings as well. They can just click each one, add it to the job, and then book it, pay for it, and schedule it as well. But as we know, not everything is a package deal, right?
No,
So you
no.
are able to also submit custom jobs and missions and things to your clients, as well as them are able to go onto your page and submit a request or a proposal request or a job request on there for something that necessarily is not a package.
Now, I think we have another slide that kind of shows maybe more of this back end stuff. There we go. Tell us what we're seeing here.
Yeah, so this is a client shot of kind of what the clients would see on their end in some capacity, right? So it's a mission detail. They can see the map where it's located. They can see the airspace information below the map there with an Aloft call that we use. We integrate with Aloft or Aloft, depending on where you're in.
Tomato,
Yeah, I
tomato,
was
whatever. Yeah.
He goes, it's literally different every time someone says
Yeah.
it. So, but yeah, it's funny in that regard. But yeah, all of the information, you can see the pilot who flew that mission for you. You can actually then book them again directly through there. You know, if you're a client that operates in different states or different industries, and need different types of pilots for different jobs, you can go on and see which pilots are good for what as well that you've book them again, and access and download all of your files as well.
And the files are what we saw at the bottom there, those images. So
Right.
we had lots of great questions in Clubhouse from drone pilots. I think asking about, can you, because right, Cody, the danger is you send the files. That's the job in some cases, like if it's
Yep.
cinematography or if it's like real estate photography, like how do you protect yourself in that regard? If they already have it, and in this case they're paying up front, but in the future, what's that going to look like?
Yeah, so ultimately it's allowing them to just view like a very low res or a watermark type of image or file data set, where ultimately they're not going to use those images, whether that's for marketing or cinematography or anything else. They'd be very low res, and until they ultimately either pay for those images, or you set the terms, right? You will be able to set the terms, whether that's completely pay up front, that's pay later, that's pay a percentage up front or late after completion.
Yep.
So ultimately, it's giving the pilots all control, because to your point before, some clients are great, right? They'll pay immediately. I don't need them to pay because I trust them. I've built them. I have a relationship over, years and years with them. So I don't care ultimately that they're not paying right away, because I know that, yeah, they have a net 45 payment term, and I know that that's what it is going to be.
Right.
So ultimately giving the pilots the ability to do whatever is the best for them and their clients.
Yeah, that's awesome. By the way, we just had a pop-up. Empire Outdoors is in the house saying good morning. So, hey, thank you so much. Again, everybody, you're out there. So we know you're out there. Fire away, because this is great stuff. I know Sam was like salivating. She's like, I'm signing up for this right away.
Yeah.
So let's walk through kind of the platform more generically, right? Oh, and by the way, Eric Small is out there saying good morning. You got a lot of fans here, Cody.
Morning.
That's awesome. So key features, right? So we talked a little bit about this workflow. We talked about drone mission management. Um, and tell us more specifically about like the database hub, because that is, I think, the biggest bear, when you
Yeah.
think about, that's what drones do, right? They collect data. And the storage of that data, the security and care of that data, and getting it, transferring it. I heard everything from, I'm using Google Docs, I'm using Dropbox, I'm using Excel spreadsheets. Like, how can you plug and play all of those things into your platform, or does your platform have kind of a proprietary one-stop shop that just does all that for people?
Yeah, I mean, it hit the nail on the head. I think I counted at one point when I was flying missions regularly, I had like 6 different file transfers, right? I was using WeTransfer, Dropbox, Box, Google Drive, all of these spots, and I'm like, you know what? Where did I send that client footage, or where was that folder, or was that a WeTransfer link, or whatever? I couldn't tell, right?
Yes.
And I didn't know where that data was. So for us, we don't necessarily integrate it with any of those today. But what we do is we have that proprietary system where all of that data and information is readily available to you inside of your client details and your mission. So if you go to one of those jobs and you click it, you can always ultimately see that data that is on with that mission, and you can access it at any time. And we use some different ways for us to ultimately offload some of that, but it's always there, right? And whether it's a certain time frame down the road, it just if it's further down the road, you probably just have a little bit longer to access it. But ultimately, you have the ability to centralize it all in one spot. You don't have to go finding it and locating it. As well, then it gives your clients the ability to be like, hey, I've flown, I know exactly where that is, because I'm just going to log into my portal for that pilot, and I know it'll be there. So I don't necessarily need to go hunting for links to send the clients. The clients don't need to be emailing me trying to figure out where it was, and both sides are very streamlined.
That's excellent. And I know it's cloud-based, right?
Correct.
Okay. So the chat is blowing up, Cody. We've got Premier Ariel saying, "Hey, Cody."
Hey.
Eric, I'm going to digress a little bit because I know you mentioned this in Clubhouse, and I'm going to give you this opportunity in response to Eric Small's question. Eric's saying, I just started my drone company, Top Flight Drones, with a ZE. I love that. I need all the insight on getting the company going. I know that's something that you really kind of are passionate about, isn't it, Cody? Helping
Yeah.
people get their business
Yeah.
going.
This is something I did for probably, man, I don't even know. The last 5 years is like, I just love talking drones with people and learning about their business and figuring out, I don't know. I know I learn something new every day for talking to pilots, and it's great because little nuances or different industries and have different ways of handling uh, drones in general, whether they're using them or the type of data that they're gathering from them. So the sales side is obviously something that I've always been passionate about too, from that, and trying to help use drones more than what they already have. Today it's a lot easier of a conversation than it was 5 years ago, because they know, most of them should know, I guess, at this point, right? What organization, but being able to educate them on more than just, hey, yeah, a drone takes a picture and a video. It's like, yeah, it does, right? But what do you get from that, or what kind of information can we use with thermal, or all the data mapping and things like that. So ultimately, I open invite anybody. My calendar link is out there, and I can drop it in the comments later as well. But open to anybody hopping on my calendar for a half an hour meeting to kind of learn and understand their business and just talk drones and just see once how I can help, or how we can collaborate in some way.
Well, I also love, Cody, that you really shaped not only your, kind of your user interface and everything about DroneAdair, the platform for pilots, but you've also priced it in a way that's affordable for pilots. Tell us about your pricing and subscription model.
Yeah, I'm ultimately, we wanted to make it so easy for pilots to really utilize it, right? I mean, from our perspective, it's our pro package is a monthly $29.99 a month, right? Super simple, hopefully easy attainable monthly cost. But if you do the yearly option, we kind of correlated to like, hey, what if I did one drone job a year? Like what if that usually, so we took an average of a drone job that we thought of, and we then cut it and even down a little bit further than that. So it's $300 a year, right? So if you can get one drone job by using it, which ultimately you will, right, and use it for all of your clients, you got it paid for, right? And then the only real other cost is processing fees, which is what you get anywhere else. And other marketplaces and brokerage firms out there are either paying pilots 20 to 30 to 40 to percent of margins, where we're flipping that completely reverse, and giving them the majority of the job, and then ultimately giving them 95+% of all of their own jobs and work.
That's awesome because someone, like Eric that's just starting out, I think that would be amazing, right? So just say somebody has a challenge with the site. Do you guys have customer service or a way to troubleshoot things if they log in, for example, and
Yeah.
they're getting the little circle of death if
Yeah,
that
I did.
happens?
I did
We've
see
all
that.
had the circle of death, I
I
think.
just saw that in the chat. Yeah, that's always a problem for something, right? I would say suggest try either using an incognito window or opening up a different window and trying to log back in. It might just be a cache error, it sounds like. Also, we did have a bug come up that if people keep the company name blank, which is actually not able to be done. Somehow they're bypassing that and they're getting that circle as well. So those might be two fixes there for you to try. But yes, inside of the platform, there's a support chat bot as well. So anything that you have and that's the beauty thing about being so new in some regards, right? Is like, we want to know the good, the bad, the ugly. What do you love? What do you hate? What do you want to see? What integrations would you like? And different edge case scenarios as well. We understand that, things might happen and break, but we're here for you to get it done as fast as possible and as quick as possible, and ultimately learn all of your insights on how to make this really the best that it can be for everyone that's using it. Yeah,
So
I'll drop the
you
as
don't
well.
also sell drones, do you, Cody?
We do not. Nope.
Okay, all right, because I think there was maybe a misunderstanding by one of our listeners that you did that, but when you talk to people, like, okay, let's put it this way: you have an extensive network of people that you collaborate. I mean, we talked about, I heard you talk about this on Clubhouse, and I've talked about this with so many people on this show and others. The folks that are going to survive in this industry are not going to be the lone wolves. You cannot stand, alone on an island and think you're going to succeed. You have to have partners. So do you actually have partners that, if someone called you and said, hey, I'm just starting out, I'm looking to maybe buy some drones, maybe I'm going to be doing mapping, like, can you help them with that?
Yeah, absolutely, for sure. We've been able to ultimately provide some industry examples. Sorry, I was reading a comment there as it popped up. Yeah, we use Drone Nerds for a lot of our resale of drones and whatnot. We partnered with them in that regard. So ultimately, we don't really make anything on anything that we do from them. We just pass on the discounts to the pilots, which ultimately I think is, it's average probably around 10%. On which drone, depending on the drone and whatnot. But yeah, we're not in it to be a drone reseller or anything like that. The nice thing about the platform too is you have access inside of it to educational courses, discounts on further education in the drone industry, as well as resources like that and others to help kind of grow, whether that's social media platforms to help you with your marketing, or insurance for to get proper coverage for your liability or hull, things like that. So kind of that one-stop area where you can just access all those needed resources in the industry.
No, I think it's so important that you have the education and resources part of your site. I wanted to, so you talked about that, and that's awesome. But we do have a very specific question from Thurman Dooley, who's saying, hey, Cody, where can I purchase the drone on the intro site page? I don't know what drone you have on your introduction site, but
I think it's an animation. So we actually,
oh,
I think that's what he's talking about. It's
okay,
I believe so. It's an animation. It's a drone that like follows you around with
yeah, 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 yeah,
your
yeah,
mouse. It's like hovering over a city. I think that's what he might be talking about. But
yeah.
yeah, we created that animation. So
Oh,
that's
okay. All right. So it doesn't exist, Thurman, but contact Cody anyway, because he could give you some advice and maybe get you some kind of a deal with Drone Nerds. Or they sell a lot of things, not just they do, I think, have DJI, but probably across the board a lot of different things.
yeah,
And by the
absolutely.
way, Studio 5 Productions, Cody had a nice comment here. I assume, kind of complimenting you indirectly, that so many companies are lowballing pilots and paying them pennies on the dollar to fly complex missions,
Yeah,
which is exactly what you're not doing. You're doing, like, you really created this platform, like you said, I think, to flip the script and
exactly.
do the opposite of that. Like, hey guys, power to you. We're going to take a little sliver. We're going to make your life easier.
Yeah, no doubt. We don't subscribe to the race to the bottom mentality that a lot of companies, do, and have been able to scale by doing, obviously, right? More money in their pocket, but ultimately less in the pilot's pocket, which we don't love. We want to be able to create those recurring relationships between enterprise clients as well as pilots, right? So that they know that they're going to be able to continuously grow a business and take it to the next level ultimately. And yeah, it's been a problem in the industry. I think it's getting better in some cases. I think even I've the little impact that maybe I've been able to make in some ways by whether responding to some of these requests or taking them and letting them know like, hey, this is a double the job it should be, and really just kind of being that educator, I guess, in a way where I try to be, or allow them to understand like, hey, this is, we need to move this forward. You need to be charging your clients more. You need to be not taking right ultimately. But yeah, it's a company goal for sure to just continuously get the pilots what they're worth.
Yeah, and to clarify, Studio 5 Productions, like exactly what I was saying. Cody's a pilot supporter, very much appreciated. So you got a lot of love out there, Cody.
Love it.
I'm
Back.
gonna right back at you. So I'm gonna rephrase Thurman Dooley's other question in a way. So you had mentioned sales, Cody. Obviously, a part of that in your career. It's a big part. You know, whether you love it or hate it, it's a big part of any business, frankly, and especially for drone pilots. How I imagine your DroneAdair platform, a pilot could use uh, your platform as also a way to leverage a sale, right? Like, hey, we've got an automated one-stop shop. We're going to be communicating through this platform. I'm going to invoice you through it. You're going to get all your data through it. It's going to be easy for you and easy for me. I imagine that could be a sales point.
Absolutely, 100%. I think that's where it started. Really, is like, hey, how can we just say like, because ultimately, as we all know, it's like, hey, I talked to them on the phone. They sent me an email. Maybe I met them at a conference, or I met them at an event, or whatever it is, right? It's like, well, how do I book a job from you? Well, let me send you a proposal and then sign it and send it back, and then let me send you an invoice and let me do this, and then, right? It's like, hey, no, here's a link. Look at it. Here's all my examples of my previous work. Here's a package that might fit your needs, depending on the industry. So you can choose what industry you're in, and then they can choose a package. They click that package. They put in all their information. It's a very obviously streamlined process, right? It's a sales funnel, but ultimately it's a website, it's a booking page, it's a client management, it's really all of that wrapped into one. And like I mentioned before, I think some people are using it as a website as well, as a standalone. Others are integrating into their current website into like a book now or schedule me button, or book us or something, right? Where they're just redirecting that button to their DroneAdair page, the client facing page, and then having the ability to let them know that everything is going to be really streamlined and automated from then on.
Yeah, I imagine from the client perspective, that is super helpful. I mean, I don't want to denigrate your platform because it's awesome, but as I'm listening to you, I'm thinking it's like Drone Dash instead of DoorDash. Like, because you go on the app, you get to see, all the different restaurants, you get to pick, the food you want. And then, like you said, you can have add-ons like, okay, I picked a burger. And then it's like, well, do you want the drink? And then it's like, well, I didn't think about that, but yeah, I'll take the drink, And so, from the client perspective, it's easy. From the business's perspective, it's making it easy, and also possibly facilitating those sales. That's pretty great. And I think just listening to you now, people are learning about some steps they're missing in their business. And it sounds like you've got Thurman Dooley is going to follow up with you, Cody. So
there we go.
that's awesome. That's what this show is about. Like, understanding the amazing companies that are out there. And just so everybody knows, like, Cody was out there. And when did we talk? Like a year ago? You and I you reached out to me.
Yeah, I reached out on LinkedIn, I think it was. I followed your stuff for a while, and was always got some insightful stuff from the shows that I had watched. So I had reached out and just said, hey, like what you're doing, and let's meet and catch up. Always about connection. I think collaboration over competition, right? And that's what my mindset always is. But I just love meeting new people, and I think I loved what you were doing and wanted to reach out.
Well, and obviously people are loving what you're doing. So it's an honor, honestly, to talk to you about this and help you spread the word, because not everybody maybe would have known about DroneAdair, what you guys are doing. And we keep talking about this collaboration angle, and you guys have forged an alliance with Vets to Drones. So if there's any veterans out there, tell them a little bit more about that.
Yeah, I mean, we're early stages with them. We've kind of had conversation, been able to, help ultimately provide insight to, a lot of different veterans, and because I think it's an easy transition, right? For that I've been able to find from vets that flying drones in a way different capacity, right? But they enjoy it. They've been around it. They know the concept of drones more, a lot longer than what we as civilians have, right? Because drones have been around in the military for so long, and obviously, ultimately. Appreciate everyone that is a veteran and has served our country. So it's always great to help and give back. And we're early on, right? And I think we're technically still in our startup phase if you go by that curve, the
Yep.
infancy. But it's ultimately things like that, and helping different organizations and other things that really push not only the industry forward, but connect different people and different industries together that can help the industry as a whole grow. So it's exciting. Hopefully more stuff to come with them and others as we continue going throughout this process of getting out there. But we love it so much.
And we got the veterans jumping in the chat. We've got a lot of vets out there. So thank you all for your service. Eric Small, Studio 5 Productions, been flying for 4 years, also vet. And there's my shadow box, everybody.
Awesome.
You can see my Wonder Woman shadow box from my retirement with my retirement flag. And you can't see the medals and whatnot in there. But yeah, so United States Air Force, 25 years right here. So I think it's awesome, and I love what Vets to Drones is doing. I agree. I think veterans get a lot of skills being in the military, especially organizational and leadership, that transfers over excellently to the drone industry as well as others. And to be able to have a platform that's so reasonably priced that can help vets and others in their businesses, I think is really key. So we've been really focused, and frankly, Cody, you've been hyper focused on the individual drone pilot, really since the inception of your business, both of your businesses.
Yeah.
You're looking also now a little bit at enterprise and some of these larger companies as well that obviously have drone pilots in them.
Yeah.
So tell us about kind of what's next for DroneAdair. Like, what do you see coming down the pike?
Yeah, so we've, ultimately been able to work, through MAP with over 100 plus companies, right, that are using drones in some sort of way, whether that's, depending on the industry, whether that's thermal, that's mapping, that's, just videography and photography, that's so many different areas, insurance and, data management or inspections. So ultimately knowing that, one, there's a lot of different scenarios out there that enterprises have pilots internal, right? And they are managing that process alone in plethora of different ways, right?
Yeah.
Distributing the data, customizing what type of deliverables they want, and really managing their pilot network, and ultimately giving them the tools to automate that process as well. Is a whole set of challenges that we've found is really a problem in the enterprise sector, and we're really tackling that. We're close. We're developing it currently, so it'll be out early next year. But ability for clients to again manage their internal pilots, connect, and ultimately add pilots that are on our platform, on the other side of the platform, to their network, whether that's reoccurring work or it's being able to really rate and review them, and ultimately saying, instead of you got this one job from me, no, Don, you did a great job for me. And now any single time I have more work that comes up in your area, and your area of expertise and the type of drones you have and everything else that goes into a good relationship, then you're going to get that job. Right. And I'm not going to send it out to a mass network of pilots, but I'm able to then add you to my network, provide real-time status updates of when they're flying, when they're en route, when the data's there, and really hone in on taking their drone operations to kind of that next level. So, yeah, be able to customize data sets and really automate all of that as well. So as you know, too, in the industry, when things come up, a lot of times it's very quick, right? We need it now. We
Yeah.
need it as fast as possible. So being able to have all of that information set up and ready to go. Obviously, I'm touching the tip of the iceberg with it, but
Yeah.
there's a lot that we're then automating on the enterprise side as well.
Yeah, that's huge. It's almost like an Uber Rolodex, if you will, for your business. Cody, you mentioned earlier some of these other APIs that you also plan to integrate, whether for drone pilots or enterprise or both. Can you kind of give us a preview of what we might expect to see, end of this year, early into 2024 about some of these other integrations?
Yeah. Oh, did I freeze right there?
I think we just, oh, there he is.
There
Yeah,
you go.
yeah.
There you go. Awesome.
What's a live stream without some kind of a glitch?
Right? No worries.
You all
Yeah,
know it's real.
exactly. Yep.
Yeah,
Technology, it always can freeze up on you.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, I mean, we're constantly looking to add different APIs and integrations, right? So when we look into more flight management, fleet management, remote ID stuff, and that information, as well as just comprehensive inclusion on what type of services or platforms you're using, right? So like integrating into QuickBooks or FreshBooks or Wave or whatever accounting software that you're using, integrating into like a Google Cloud or a Google Calendar or an Outlook or an Apple, so you can completely organize all of your data or your missions and that information as well. Really looking at it from a holistic standpoint of people have current platforms that they're using now, right? And sometimes it's tough to get away from also some of those platforms. So how can we integrate with them
yeah.
and ultimately make it as seamless as possible? Because we don't want to be, all of these things as a platform. We want to be able to really uh, integrate into a lot of these that are out there as well. So always looking for, partnerships inside of the drone industry as well from that perspective, but um, really advancing the technology inside the platform.
Yeah, absolutely. So any other, kind of big announcements? We're getting close to our time, Cody. I knew it would fly, and boy, everybody out there is so funny because when Cody and I were talking before the show, he's like, "Are we, we kind of have like an outline of things we're going to cover." And he's like, "Are we going to stick to the?" I'm like, "Well, it depends on what the questions are in the chat." And today, I feel like it's been a record. Some of the comments we're getting, great questions. So here we go.
Love it.
Any other like big announcements or anything else that we should look out for with DroneAdair?
Yeah, I mean, anything, or obviously the enterprise is a huge thing that we're working towards. So really for us right now is anybody that's looking to, connect and just learn more about kind of how that would look from scaling their enterprise solutions with drones. We'd love to connect in that way, because ultimately, again, it's customer development or customer discovery that is going to make this product and this platform what needs to be ultimately for future, right? So currently, if you are a pilot or if you have a drone business and you're looking to build that up and scale it, again, I dropped my calendar link there. You feel free to book a spot on there. Anybody right now, we have a 30-day free trial, ultimately, because that's why we want you to get on and use it, test it, integrate it into your current flow and process. And ultimately then after that 30 days, you'll get an exclusive trial discount as well. So again, just making it hopefully as easily attainable for you to kind of integrate it and set it up and start using it to build a business. But obviously reach out to me on LinkedIn. I'm try to be more active as possible on there, as well as any social media. Feel free to kind of subscribe to our newsletter on our website, DroneAdair.com, and ultimately stay up to date with all of our updates and platform things and industry related news and partnerships as we go forward.
All right. Well, it looks like people are already booking on your link, Cody. So, besides booking on your link, it's been a crazy year for events. I met Cody in person for the first time. at Commercial UAV just in Vegas in September. It was amazing. Where might people run into you maybe in person next year? Do you have any kind of shows on your scope?
Yeah, I mean, I think commercial will now be another, staple as we go through the ASUVI one as well.
Yeah, AVSI
Yeah,
Exponential, everybody.
yeah,
Set your calendars, San Diego, the week of April 22nd. And my Law Tech Connect workshop is going to be on Monday. So it's a separate thing, but it's co-located. So hopefully y'all can come to that.
yeah. I was
And
trying to get there this past year, but I definitely want to make it this next year and yeah, get to as many events as we can. I don't have any other ones planned than those for right now, but
yeah. Well, you
yeah.
got your enterprise and your drone pilots covered. So, I mean, there's a lot going on, but everybody follow Cody. You've got his link. Keep making those appointments. Stay in touch. Cody, any final remarks? We're about 1 minute over, and my producer's going to kill me. So,
No, that's
anything
all
else
right.
you wanted to say before we
Yeah.
sign off?
No, absolutely not. I appreciate you having me on. Again, I feel free to anybody to reach out. I love connecting with everybody, and yeah, it was a great show. So thanks again.
All right. Thank you so much, and thanks for what you do. Everybody else, we are out here.